What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Let me go ahead and put on my glasses. Yep. Welcome back to another episode of AC Reviews the World. I am your host, AC the Engineer. and we are at episode 57. Yes, sir. Yep. We're at episode 57 now. Moving straight along. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is October 21st, 2025. Getting closer to the end of October, closer to Halloween. And like that, we got crazy things happening because of Halloween. But we'll get into that. But we got a lot of things to discuss today. A body found in the missing young woman's case. So we'll get into that. We got the murder trial coming up for Sanya Massey, if y'all remember who that is. We've been watching it. But like I said, we got people in Halloween masks terrorizing people. And there's a lot of crazy things happening. When it seems like when we get closer to Halloween, a lot more crazy things start to happen. A lot more crazy things. But, what we got to do, we got to review the world together. We got to look at all this stuff. And we just got to see what we think about it. And have a good discussion on it. The main thing, so we can talk about it together. But you know how I like to do it? I like to get right to it. The first thing we're going to talk about today is the disappearance in the murder case. We talked about this before. Miss Scott. Her body has been found, and the remains have been clearly identified as so let's get over into that. But like I said, let's get into it. We got 3 videos to look at. So let's jump into it and see what we can find out.
Is this the conclusion that we wanted? Absolutely not.
A grim discovery in the search for 23-year-old Kada Scott, who went missing exactly 2 weeks ago tonight. Good evening to you. It's great to be with you on a Saturday night. I'm Ross DiMattei. Authorities have not identified whose remains were found, but they say it appears to be those of a female. CBS News Philadelphia reporter Ryan Hughes joins us live from police headquarters with the latest on this investigation. Good evening, Ryan.
Hey, Ross, good evening. This case has drawn a lot of attention over the past 14 days, but police say it was a very specific tip that they received, which helped lead them to those human remains. And the discovery came only a few hours before Scott's family was set to lead a community search just a short distance away. Raw emotion boiling over in East Germantown after community members learned human remains were found in an area police have been focusing on amid the intensive search for Kada Scott.
Honestly, it's heartbreaking. I have kids myself, and I wouldn't want this for nobody.
Now, first thing I want to say is, y'all remember the last video when we talked about her full story about the disappearance, and they said that the suspected killer was not cooperating. And that he wasn't cooperating with them. And what did I say? I said that the only reason he was confident, where he didn't have to give a story, he said that the whole reason he was confident was because he most likely got rid of the body, or she was already gone. It's a tragic story. We didn't want to think about that, but you have to think about the worst, and you have to prepare for the worst and think about the best. But let's keep going. Let's see.
They say they returned to the abandoned Ada H. Lewis Middle School Saturday morning after receiving a very specific and anonymous tip Friday night. Behind the school, deep in the woods, investigators tell us they found a woman's body in a shallow grave.
After being able to remove some of the debris back there, able to locate the body of a human being. All indications at this point is that it's a female.
The discovery comes exactly 2 weeks after Scott vanished. The 23-year-old was last seen leaving her workplace, an assisted living facility in Chestnut Hill. The search intensified this week. Police scoured the same grounds around the middle school on Wednesday. We're told officers found a bank card, phone case, and glasses believed to be Scott's. Now the body is being analyzed by the medical examiner's office, who will make a formal identification.
Okay, so as you see, we don't need to watch the whole thing, but that is when they got the tip. I wonder who gave the tip. Was it a friend of the suspect? Because remember, they was hoping, the father was hoping that someone who knew the suspected killer would come forward. So did they feel like they needed to come forward? But let's get over into this next video. now that it has been identified.
Developing overnight, sources tell Action News that initial DNA tests of human remains found over the weekend connect them to missing Philadelphia woman Kada Scott. District Attorney Larry Krasner plans to talk more about the case today. The remains were buried in a shallow grave behind a vacant school in the city's Germantown section over the weekend, while the last person to contact the 23-year-old remains in jail this morning. Action News reporter Catherine Scott is live at the DA's office in Center City with what we know so far and what we hope to learn during this news conference. Catherine.
That's right, Matt. Sources say that the remains appear to be hers. At this point, we don't know the cause of death, but word came in overnight that the district attorney will be here today to announce the next steps in the prosecution of Keon King, who's already in custody in connection to this case. A memorial is growing outside this vacant school in Germantown, behind which a shallow grave containing human remains was discovered on Saturday. 2 weeks after 23-year-old Kada Scott disappeared while working her overnight shift at a senior living community in Chestnut Hill. Law enforcement sources now confirm the DNA testing indicates the remains are those of Kada Scott.
Apparently, whoever did know about it, I mean, you know, they either been back here or they know somebody involved with it, but kind of disappointing that, you know, they waited this long to say something about it.
21-year-old Keon King was charged last week for kidnapping and strangulation in this case, and in a separate case from earlier this year that had been initially dropped when the witness did not appear in court. Last week, law enforcement had searched the grounds near the school and found physical evidence, including Scott's phone case. They scoured nearby Albury Arboretum the week prior. Then over the weekend, First Deputy Police Commissioner John Stanford said a very specific anonymous tip came in and officers returned to the area behind the school around 10 a.m. on Saturday.
We begin to go back into that area where we will locate a shallow grave after being able to remove some of the debris back there. We have to do everything in our power to ensure that we bring justice for this family and some level of closure.
Sources say police also recovered relevant surveillance footage from a nearby recreation center. Of course, we'll be covering this press conference today at the district attorney's office, and we'll let you know what happens. That takes place at 11. We are live in Center City. Catherine Scott, Channel 6 Action News.
Absolutely crazy. Let's get over into this next video.
Well, they did find her body. It was certainly the very, very sad news that nobody had hoped would be the outcome, that of 23-year-old Kada Scott.
Greg is back on this story again this morning. Greg.
Yeah, I mean, as you said it, Karen, I mean, this is a result that nobody wanted in regards to this missing persons case. And unfortunately, the remains that law enforcement found behind Ada Lewis Middle School over the weekend, it has been confirmed that that is the remains of 23-year-old Kada Scott. Now, police say they found 23-year-old Kada Scott's body after receiving an anonymous tip that led investigators back to the former Ada Lewis Middle School Saturday morning, an area previously searched. More than a week later, police arrested and charged 21-year-old Keon King in connection with Scott's kidnapping and for a previous kidnapping of a woman earlier this year that was originally dismissed when a key witness failed to show up to court. Investigators believe King was the last person to see her the night she disappeared. As mentioned, police say they found the body after searching the area a second time, which has led to quite a bit of frustration amongst community members.
That's understandable. It's completely understandable that they are frustrated because why didn't they find it the first time? Were the dogs not out there? Could they not smell the decomposing body? But I don't know if it was buried deep enough, but they said shallow grave, so I'm not sure. That is a good question. Why didn't they find it first time? If they found the items like her wallet and stuff like that, her credit card, I would think that that would warrant a full sweep of the area. Full sweep. But hey, we'll never know, but she has been found now. Let's get over into this next part where it's talking about the new charges that Keon King is facing for this. So let's get over into it.
Jackie and Fred, a whole lot of activity, a whole lot of new developments today, so of course we're going to get right to it. We are standing outside of the old Ada Lewis Middle School in East Germantown. You talked about some of those new charges: arson, conspiracy. That's very important, a new conspiracy charge, and also tampering with evidence. But as you said, a whole lot of activity. We've been out here for the last hour or so, and just take a look around over here. There are all sorts of crews out here breaking down the bushes and doing all sorts of cleaning up and clearing the debris. If we can turn back over here as well, you can see kind of a makeshift memorial that's starting to grow over here with balloons and flowers. And forgive us, there's a lot going on. We're going to give you one more spin over here, and this is what's happening right now. There's a vigil going on. Folks are setting up and getting ready to honor the life of Kada Scott. As we all know by now, we're learning a whole lot more about this case.
It's something that is actively being investigated. Obviously, they knew each other to some extent. We believe in terms of maybe there was some cell phone communication, obviously.
Investigators telling us tonight Keon King and Kada Scott had talked to each other before October 4th. That's the night they say King kidnapped the 23-year-old when she arrived for her overnight shift at a nursing home in Chestnut Hill. Investigative sources now saying they believe Scott was killed shortly after she vanished, maybe within 20 to 30 minutes.
We will be proceeding with homicide charges when we can very precisely confirm everything we need for probable cause, and we will do so as quickly as we can once we have confirmed what we need to establish probable cause.
We're now learning on October 3rd, the day before Scott disappeared, someone stole a car from Sprague Street near East Mount Airy. Investigators say that car would then stay at the recreation center next to the former middle school where they found Scott's body Saturday. That vehicle, according to police, was there for about a day and a half before being intentionally burned in an alley near 74th Avenue on October 7th. Today, we still saw broken glass and charred vehicle remains at the scene.
Do you believe Mr. King stole that car, or did somebody else steal that car and he happened to just be in it?
I don't want to comment about what I believe happened. All I can say at this point is what the evidence that we have.
As for the other car found at a condo complex in East Falls last week, detectives say that vehicle was also at the recreation center the days after Scott went missing. They tell NBC 10 King's cell phone puts him near the area of the stolen car that day, at the recreation center when it was there for nearly 2 days, and other critical times, including the car arson.
At this point, we do have reason to believe that other people may have been involved after the fact, but in terms of who those people are and the level of their involvement, I'm not going to comment at this time.
Today, the Scott family released a statement through the DA's office saying, in part, our hearts are broken beyond measure. Going on to add, Kada was deeply loved. Her light, kindness, and beautiful spirit will forever remain in our hearts.
Kada Scott mattered. Her life matters.
Her life certainly mattered, and you can see by the outpouring of support that's here right now. The memorial is growing, scheduled to start at about right now in the next couple of minutes, but we've seen a lot of tears, of course, a lot of hugs. You mentioned it earlier, but they have not released how Kada Scott was killed. Investigators saying basically they're waiting for the medical examiner to wrap up their investigation before they release that information. We're also told that the DA's office did meet with Kada's family yesterday to give them an update on this case face to face. But once again, you can feel the emotion here. You can feel the support here as well, as this case, as we all know by now, has gripped the community. An unprecedented amount of support with tips and evidence and video that's helping police get to this ending right now. For now, we're live in East Germantown. Aaron Baskerville, NBC 10 News.
A heartbreaking 2 weeks. Aaron, thank you. And we have posted a full statement.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's a tragic situation, but like I said, once they said that he was not cooperating, I had a feeling that he already got rid of the body or had somebody who did. Now, they did mention something that I did want to bring up, how they are thinking that it's multiple people involved. Now, that makes sense to me because one thing, the tip. Someone gave a tip about exactly where the body is hid. The only way they can know that is if they was involved or if they talked to him about it, or talked to the suspected killer about it. But it's a tragic situation all about. Doesn't seem like they have not specified how she died, how she was killed. They're still waiting for any more information. That they're still waiting on the coroner's office to go through all that. But it's tragic situation. But She has been found. They can get a little bit of peace, but they got to go through the trial process. At the end of the day, ladies, please be careful who you talk to. Please be careful. Don't just go out and meet somebody. You never know what they're about. Meet them in public first. You got to take proactive steps to protect your own life, especially if you're out here meeting random people, especially. And it's not just ladies too. Men are a little more, can fight back at least a little bit more, at least in my opinion. Some people will be like, oh, well, women can do it just as well. Well, you know, we ain't going to get into that. But just be careful who you're meeting. Be careful who you decide to meet in a private area without many people around. Just got to be careful out here nowadays. You have to be careful. And keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head on a swivel. It's a tragic scene, but we got to review the world together. We got to review the world together. Absolute crazy, y'all. Absolute crazy. Let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Now we got to pivot. We got to pivot over into Sanya Massey. So if you remember, hopefully you remember, Sanya Massey, who was killed in her home by a police officer. Her murder trial is set to begin here soon. I believe it might have started yesterday. Let's get into it. We got a few videos to look at, but a lot of people have forgotten about this. I remember seeing the video, just going through a deep dive of watching the video and everything like that. It's a crazy scene, something that you wouldn't expect to see. But let's get into it and see what's happening with the murder trial.
All eyes will be on downstate Peoria County courtroom on Monday for the start of the first-degree murder trial of Sean Grayson.
He's the former Sangamon County Sheriff deputy charged with the murder of Sanya Massey, with body cam video being a key piece of evidence. WGN's Judy Wang has a preview.
Body cam footage will take center stage in a Peoria County courtroom.
You in the name of Jesus. I'll shoot you in the name of Jesus. You better not. I swear to God, I'll shoot your face.
Outside the courthouse, security will be tight in anticipation of protests and national media coverage.
We've been planning since April for this to make sure everyone is safe. There's a lot of logistics that come in play with this.
Jury selection will begin Monday morning for the trial of former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson. Grayson is charged with first-degree murder, battery, and misconduct in connection with the shooting of Sanya Massey.
What's going on there?
I keep hearing stuff on the outside of my house, and it sounds like somebody was banging on the side of my house. I don't know. Could y'all come and see?
July 6, 2024, Grayson and a fellow deputy responded to Massey's 911 call reporting a suspected prowler outside her Springfield area home. The situation escalated when Massey appeared to have trouble answering the deputy's questions. Body cam video shows Massey removing a pot of boiling water from the stove, Grayson drawing his gun and firing.
You know, what else do we do? I'm not taking hot boiling water to face.
In April, a judge moved the trial to Peoria after Grayson's defense team argued he could not get a fair and impartial trial in Sangamon County. Prosecutors will argue Massey posed no threat and the use of force was unjustified. Grayson's attorney will argue it was self-defense and Massey was the aggressor. The judge ruled the defense cannot bring up Massey's mental health prior to the 911 call. Also, jurors will not hear about Grayson's 2016 discharge from the Army for misconduct, DUIs on his record, and complaints from civilians. Grayson's trial could last up to 2 weeks.
Oh, hold on. What you mean they won't hear about his? I would think that his complaints, that civilian complaints, would matter in this case. It shows that he has previous history about it, but that is their decision.
Judy Wang, WGN News.
Well, let's get over into the next video and see what else we can find out.
In less than 24 hours, the murder trial for a man accused of shooting and killing Sanya Massey in her Springfield home will begin. Former Sangamon County Deputy Sean Grayson faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder. Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Laura Barczewski. 5 on your side's Reagan DeTrolio talked with the NAACP and legal experts to find out what we can expect from this trial in the coming days.
I hope to see justice.
Sanya Massey was only 36 years old when she was shot and killed by Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson in July 2024. Court documents show Massey originally called 911 to report someone lurking at her home in Springfield, Illinois. That's when Grayson arrived and the situation escalated. St. Louis County NAACP President John Bowman says with Grayson's trial beginning on Monday, every little detail about his past needs to be examined.
So it appears that Officer Grayson had worked in 6 other departments, and we need to be able to know what those issues were at those particular departments so that police departments can make better decisions about their hiring practice.
Former long-serving Illinois public defender John Rakowski gave his insight before the trial begins.
I would expect that you're going to see probably a good 2 to 2.5 days of jury selection. Picking the jury is critically important in this type of case. Ideally, that's a jury that is a blank slate. Given the nature of this case and the nationwide publicity it's gotten, you're not going to find a jury that knows nothing about this case. So you're going to be taking a jury that says, I can put that aside and decide it based on what I hear in the witness stand.
Rakowski says this body cam footage of Grayson entering Massey's home just moments before she was shot will be key in determining a verdict.
You have a very damning video that the officer is going to have to explain.
Rakowski believes the jury will hear from law enforcement and mental health specialists at trial.
I anticipate you will see the defense call 1 to 2 experts.
A big question is what is proper police conduct in a situation like this? Advocates like Bowman say it should never end in violence.
Justice should be served for this family in the proper way, and he faces the extent of the law as anyone else would for taking a person's life.
Reporting in Illinois, I'm Reagan DeTrolio, 5 on your side.
Absolutely wild. Now, tell me your thoughts, y'all. Some people are saying that it was warranted. Some people like to say it's warranted because she had the pot of boiling water. Some people saying that he could have just stepped out of the situation because she was clearly going through something. But tell me your thoughts, y'all. Tell me your thoughts. Let's get over into this last video about this. It looks like we hear about, let's see what this next video is about.
In less than 24 hours, the murder trial for a man accused of shooting and killing Sanya Massey in her Springfield home will begin. Former Sangamon County Deputy Sean Grayson faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder. Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Laura.
Did I not? Wrong one. I'm sorry. Let me go over to this, grab the right video. Let's go over into the right video. Where is it? Right here. We'll get over into this next one. It's talking about the family in this situation. Let's see.
A trial is expected to begin on.
Let's get into that right here.
Monday for the former deputy accused of killing Sanya Massey. She was shot in her Springfield home after calling 911 for help. Reporter Monique Davis spoke to her family about how they're feeling ahead of the trial.
There probably will be a certain amount of surprises. I think people are reserving the surprise just to show support.
As Sean Grayson's trial is set to begin in days, the Massey family says they are expecting thousands to stand outside the courthouse in Peoria to show support. They say this journey has been a long road, and they have the community to thank for sticking beside them.
The city of Springfield became the city of Springfield that I remember. It's a community that comes out and they help each other regardless of race, color, creed, political affiliation.
As the Masseys finalize their travel plans for the trial, they will decide as a family if Sanya's kids, Malachi and Summer, will be in attendance. Despite the quickly approaching date and the uncertainty of what the trial will bring, Sanya's mom, Donna Massey, says the kids are in a great space.
Kept their jobs, they stayed in school. Yeah. They just kept moving.
Sanya's aunt, Ramona Massey Spalding, says it feels like everything fell into place for Summer and Malachi.
And it was shocking because it never fell into place for me like that. you know, but everything fell into place and they're even closer.
Sticking together and leaning on one another has been essential for the Masseys in their time of grief over the last year. They say their closeness will only be amplified as they step foot into the Peoria courthouse to relive the details of their loved one's death.
You know, in any other circumstance, this would be an open and shut case. Justice is justice, and we hope to secure justice regardless of who's involved.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. It has to be a hard situation, especially going to court and having to relive everything, hear about the situation, see the videos playing out. I couldn't imagine being a juror either, because this case had so much national attention. I myself dove deep into just finding different videos so I can learn about what exactly was happening, and just trying to put that aside and putting some of the information aside that I learned about the suspect, because he hasn't been charged yet, or the killer. Putting that aside and only focusing on the information that they give me, that would be hard. I could see that. So yeah, like they said, jury selection is going to be a key factor. Like they said, they moved it from the county it was in because they didn't feel like they could get a fair trial with the jury. It's a crazy situation. I'm praying for the family who has to go through and relive this. But innocent until proven guilty. We just got to wait until the trial goes, and if they find him innocent of all charges, or if they find him guilty, we just have to wait and see. But we will keep up with this and see what we can learn. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Let me know what your thoughts are on that case. Let me know if you think that it was warranted for him to use deadly force against the hot water, or if you think he could have able to step away. There's a lot of things that go through. You can always find the video. The body cams are everywhere. We live in an age of technology, so that's a good thing, a good and bad thing. But we can find the video. So go do your own research. That's my main thing. I always like to say is please go do your own research. Don't just rely on one person telling you what to look at. That's why I always like doing these, because we can. I'm doing my own research, finding out things that I want to see, and just deep diving into different things. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. We're gonna pivot now. With Halloween getting closer. We have some crazy things happening. It looks like there's a Halloween mass trio that are terrorizing families, or terrorizing a family. So we have to get into it and see what all this is about. We got 2 videos to look at. At the end of the day, if someone's in a crime mass staying outside my house, I'm going to tell them a few times to leave. If they don't and they try to open the door, we know what's going to happen. But let's get over into it and see what's happening. Oh, wrong. Did I not? Oh, wrong video. See, there's got a lot of videos loaded. Halloween mask. This one. See, look at that. Imagine him standing outside your door now, trying to get in. We got to be honest. He could get shot. Quick. But let's get into it.
Chilling video captured on a Ring doorbell camera.
Open the door!
3 people wearing Halloween masks terrorizing a family in Alexandria, Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C., late Tuesday night.
Worst nightmare.
The 3 apparently laughing at first, but their actions quickly becoming more sinister. From pulling on the front door.
Open the door! Open the door!
Bow! Crazy.
To making the motion of cutting their throat before threatening to break into the house.
I'm gonna count to 10. If this door doesn't open, we're gonna come in.
As soon as the doorknob would have moved,
2.
he would have been shot. I'm telling y'all now, as soon as the doorknob would have moved and he's saying all that crazy stuff, he would have been shot.
I said Happy Halloween when they first came, asked them to get off the property. When they didn't, that's when I realized it wasn't a joke anymore.
Our ABC affiliate WJLA speaking with Shayla, one of those family members inside. She says the three never got into the house.
They tore the whole thing down.
She says they made their way to the backyard, destroying her fence and the screen to the back door.
They came through there, and that's how they entered to get to our door to be able to knock on the back door.
I'm not aware of incidents that have occurred this heinous before. And that's why it's so concerning.
Police in Alexandria now investigating. The chief calling this video very alarming.
But we're going to take every step once we identify them to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law.
Investigators say what may be seen as a prank days before Halloween is no joke.
Going around to their backyard, destroying property, and transitions from a prank to a criminal offense. And we take these incidents seriously.
And the chief says his message to whoever did this is turn yourself in. Shayla says that is her mom's house. Her mom now lives in fear because they do not know who did this. Police say they have promising leads with.
Well, that's good that they have leads. They're just terrifying case.
Really terrifying.
Thank you, Perry. We appreciate it.
Let's get over into this next video and see if we can learn anything different. Like I'm saying, y'all, I don't know about y'all. I might be overreacting, but come on now. As soon as he opened the door with as soon as he tries to wiggle the doorknob, saying that he's going to kill me, it's all up from there. I got to protect myself, protect the people in my house. It would have been a different news story. It would have been a different news story. The news story would have read, man defends himself against terrorizing criminals. 1 dead, 2, how many? Hey. All right, but let's get into it.
Open up the door before we make our way inside. Open up the door!
As Halloween approaches, a Virginia family shows how they experienced a real living nightmare after a costume-clad trio gathered outside of their Alexandria, Virginia home earlier this week, demanding that the people inside let them in. At first, they rang the doorbell, knocked on the door, and shouted, "Either you come out or we come in." But then after that, it really escalated. The family says the trio attempted to force the front door open, break down a wooden fence in the backyard, slash through the deck screens, and then pound on the windows. At one point, the family says the trio shouted death threats and promised to return. Tonight, the family remains concerned, and of course, they want answers, including what legal rights they had in this situation. To discuss this and hopefully get some answers to that, let's bring in attorney Mark Reichel. Thank you so much for joining us for the second night in a row. Let's start with that question there, sir. What could this family have done in this situation? And if they genuinely were feeling threatened on their own property, does stand your ground rights apply here?
Each state varies, so every single state varies. Virginia, where that took place, and many others have, a stand your ground law, which means your home is your castle. So you can't really use deadly force. You have to use the amount of reasonable force necessary to repel whatever the danger is to you. However, you can use deadly force when it gets to the point where they're either breaking the door down, breaking the window open, or really close to getting the door open. You can't really just do it if they're standing on the porch. Even if they're threatening you, obviously the first thing to do is call the police. So it has to be where they break it into the house somehow. So jiggling the door is probably not enough. Honestly, it's a terribly difficult legal call, but it's when they push it enough that you think they're going to get it open. You can fire away.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder whether or not.
What did I say? Soon as they wiggle that door, I'm thinking, my immediate mind is they're trying to break in. Letting it fly. You can't unload the clip because that'd be excessive. But a few shots is going to get, and they're going to scatter. Am I going to hope I hit somebody? I mean, you don't shoot not to hit somebody, but
Not this was something that was nefarious, if it was just a prank that was really poorly thought out. Either way, the Alexandria police chief hinting at the idea that this trio may soon face charges, including burglary, as well as criminal threats. So do you think, I just heard your first answer, perhaps not, they didn't cross the line. Do you think charges might apply here?
They didn't cross.
Oh, yeah. I do think it's absolutely all sorts of things. If you threaten someone to harm them, that's a criminal threat. Secondly, they were on the porch trying to break in, so there's an attempted break-in. If they really did slash a screen, It's possible that it could be the burglary, nighttime burglary. So I think they're absolutely going to, they'll be convicted if they're caught, I think, on these facts.
What would the defense be, you think? If they caught these three guys, they had to appear in a court of law. What do you think would be the right way for a defense attorney to handle it?
Good
They
question.
have to prove that these persons had the intent to really do these things. I think their lawyer's going to have to get a hold of them and make sure they don't speak about anything, because it is so strange. Even Alex, I know, as you noted, there were some civilians or pedestrians walking through the street with dogs,
saw that,
so forth, in cars. So, and yet these people were speaking so loudly. You know, they know that everyone could hear them. It was strange how they would walk back and stand there like they wanted to be photographed and would say these words over and over, "We're your worst nightmare." It is certainly strange. They could absolutely be charged with a crime. And if they would have gone a little bit further, I think these people would have had the right to use their gun.
Well, you were right to point out the fact.
A little bit further is, come on now. He when he wiggles the door, and if he really did slash the screen, that's far enough for me. That's let me know if you think I'm.
That there were other passerbys and civilians out. It doesn't look like this was in the dead of night. It looked like maybe, you know, at a time where people are still walking their dogs. It makes me wonder about just the fact that they're wearing costumes, and maybe perhaps it being so close to Halloween that this is something that people might just shrug off. Oh, it's just kids, you know, messing around, when really it could be criminals out there meaning to do harm.
Absolutely. Obviously, that's the great disguise, to blend in, is to wear these horrible costumes. But they achieved their purpose. If they were trying to scare this person, they scared the rest of the nation. So.
All right, what do you think would be the advice that we could give to viewers out there? I mean, this video is circulating on the internet. We've been showing it, obviously, because it is just so disturbing. There might be people out there that are thinking about their own security at their own homes and wondering, my God, I hope that never happens to me. What advice should we be giving them if they find themselves in a situation like this?
No, that's really shocking. My wife, Elizabeth, I didn't show it to her because I didn't want to ruin Halloween for her. But so I agree with you. I think that the advice is immediately call the police. Immediately call the police. Don't let anybody in. And I'm telling you, they break that door a little bit more, the seal of that door, or break a window. You gotta protect yourself.
Attorney Mark Reichel, thank you very much for your time. Let's hope it doesn't happen anymore across America.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you for watching.
A little bit. He said they break it a little bit more. They did too much already. Wiggling the door handle. Wiggling the door, cutting the screen. Get up out of here. There's no way. There is absolutely no way. But hey, I might be going too far. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you feel the same way I do. Or if you think, hey, they didn't do enough to where it warranted you thinking your life was in danger. Because that's the main point of it. If you feel like your life is in danger and they're trying to harm you, then you're allowed to definitely stand your ground. Somebody tries to break into your house, especially in states like this in the South, stand your ground laws. Well, I don't play like that. It seems now, if people don't understand, especially these kids nowadays, they don't understand. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. These pranks that nowadays that they love to put on social media and stuff like that, they might have just been doing it for social media. They trying to, because they knew they had a Ring camera, standing posing in front of the camera. They trying to do something crazy to get on social media. Or they just might be some crazy kids who trying to do something crazy. Wow, just don't do that to me. That's all I can say. Don't do that to me, because I'm gonna be scared. I'm gonna think my life is in danger, and then I'm just gonna call the police and my lawyer at the end of it. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. Let me know your thoughts, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. How would you react in that situation? How would you react? Would you just sit there and watch? Would you take action? Just call the police? It's a crazy story. Crazy story. Absolutely wild, y'all. Absolutely wild. Now these people need to end up in jail. These people need to end up in jail. But it's kids nowadays, they understand they're gonna go to jail for some of their actions, but they don't really believe how bad jail is. We got this next video we're gonna go to. It looks like an 18-year-old, 24 hours after entering the Oklahoma jail. He's in a coma. Yep. 24 hours after entering the jail, he's in a coma. Absolutely crazy. We got a video to look at and we got an article to get into so we can learn about what exactly happened. Let's get into it and see what we can learn from this whole situation. At the end of the day, what I know is jail ain't the place for me. Jail is not the place for me. Let's get into it.
Questions surround what sent an 18-year-old to the hospital with a traumatic brain injury because he had spent less than a day in the Oklahoma County Jail.
And the next time his family saw him, he was in the hospital. News 4's Lauren Henry spoke with the young man's mother.
Antonio Hendricks spent less than 24 hours at the Oklahoma County Jail. Now he's in a coma, fighting for his life. His family still searching for answers.
My primary question is what happened to my son and who did it.
According to court documents, Antonio Hendricks was pulled over for improper lane use near Southeast 44th and Sunny Lane. Police ended up arresting Hendricks after finding a gun in his waistband. They say he also didn't have a valid driver's license. We requested the body cam footage of the moments Oklahoma police officers took Hendricks into custody. It appears he is talking and walking normally. We know he made it to the county jail where this mugshot was taken.
The last call we received from Antonio was about 11:45 a.m. The next call I received was at 6:14 p.m. saying that my son was in intensive care at SSM Midtown.
According to Mark Opgrand with the Oklahoma County Jail, Hendricks was booked into the jail at 7:15 Friday night. Hendricks' mother, Clovia Long, says the family paid the 18-year-old's bond that evening.
That jail had told us that they can have a 24 to 48-hour process to process him out.
Normally, this is what Hendricks looks like. The next time his mother saw him, he was hospitalized.
Antonio has heavily been sedated, placed in a coma.
Now, let me say this: it is a tragic situation. It's definitely a tragic situation. But I have to say this: we have to be honest about it. You never know what can happen to you once you go behind that wall. Once you're in jail. They say he was driving with not a valid license and he had a gun in his waistline. 18-year-old with a pistol. I know that's not, I don't think anywhere where you can be 18 and have a pistol. At least that's, now if I might be mistaken, but kids nowadays just don't do, my suggestion is not to do anything that can get you thrown in jail. Now, kids are stupid nowadays. Kids will do what they want to do. But my whole point, because I think I was overly speeding, and I had to stay in lockup for about 24 hours till I could get released on no bond, without bond. I was overly speeding. Just those little in the lockup was like, yeah, this ain't for me. I had to dress out and all that. Yeah, this is not for me. It's not the life that I want to live. So going forward, I was never doing anything to where it could get me into the slammer. Absolutely crazy. Let's keep going though.
He's doing better. They didn't find any more bleeds in the brain, but he still has a long way to go.
But how he ended up with a traumatic brain injury remains a mystery. His family is desperate to find out what happened to him after this photo was taken. The Oklahoma City Police Department tells us their records indicate Hendricks had no injuries or medical needs when they took him to the jail. He spent the next 19 hours behind bars under the supervision of jailers, and the spokesman for the jail tells us Hendricks was officially released from their custody Saturday afternoon at 2:25. Less than 30 minutes after the jail says he was released, Hendricks was in St. Anthony Hospital's emergency room.
I was told by the physicians here at St. Anthony's that Antonio was transported via IMSA, and that it was the jail that called IMSA and released him to IMSA.
Jail officials have given us little information about this case, only saying an individual who was recently booked into our facility was transported to the hospital upon release. Hendrick's mother says their family has been left in the dark.
No mother wants to see their child laying in a bed with tubes in their throat. My baby can't speak to me. As of right now, I can't even touch him. I can't kiss him because they don't want him agitated to cause any further complications. So I'm just stuck here wondering, what may be my son's outcome.
In Oklahoma City, Lauren Henry, Oklahoma's News 4.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let's go over to his image. So, see, I have questions. Of course, no mother will want to see her son like this, but why did he have a gun? Why did he have a gun? Was he known for carrying a gun? Was he a part of that lifestyle? Maybe it's an area where he felt like he needed to carry a gun for protection. But all of it comes down, at the end of the day, to individual actions. Is it a tragic situation? Most likely somebody beat him up, got to him. They got into a fight. We don't know. We won't know until they release some information about it. But most likely some kind of fight happened. They got into a deadly fight. You won't know who started it, but that is a possibility when you enter lockup, when you enter behind the bars. That is always a possibility. Think about that all the time. If you end up having to go to jail, the possibility that you will have to fight or defend yourself or whatever crazy thing you have to do. At the end of the day, it all comes down to individual actions. He individually chose to drive without a valid license. He chose to carry a gun. He knew the consequences behind his actions. That it'll probably get him thrown in jail. But you never know what can happen behind that wall. 24 hours. 24 hours. And your life changed forever. Some of you were in a coma. Your mother's crying over your body. All because of individual actions. Now, should have the jailers done more? Yeah, but we got to be honest. This probably happens all the time. Maybe not to the coma aspect, but fights. Something bad happens. I'm absolutely positive plenty of people end up going to the hospital because of fights. You never know when that one fight is going to end in something crazy, like a coma, something deadly, might get stabbed with a shank. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. It's a crazy world, y'all. It's a truly crazy world. But we got to review it together. We have to review it together. Now, I was looking to see if there was any more information about this that we can find. But majority of all the stuff, there's only one article. There's not too many articles about this. A lot of people ain't talking about it. See one article, 2 articles at most. And it's all the information we just heard. It's all about individual actions. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know how you feel. Do you feel like somebody should be held responsible? I'm assuming the jail. I don't know. I don't know if you can hold the jailers responsible or not, because they have a wide job to do. They can't just look after one individual person. I can't imagine how many inmates they have to look after. Of course, the person who actually got into a fight with him and caused it, of course, yes, he should be held responsible. Add more time to his booking, but at the end of the day, just don't go to jail. That is my advice. Don't go to jail. Don't do stuff to get you thrown in jail. But kids nowadays won't listen to that. Kids nowadays will be like, oh, well, it's only jail. I'm only being there for a little bit. He was only in there for a little bit. Now he's in the hospital. They just want to make sure I would want him to make it through it and recover, face his time. I hope he doesn't succumb to his injuries. But got to be honest. It all comes down to individual actions. Now we got that. Well, let's pivot. It's a tragic situation. But let's pivot. We're gonna pivot over into, it looks like a mother and son had murdered or being accused of murder of a 17-year-old girl. I don't know what can drive a mother and son to commit this kind of crime. But let's get into it. We got we got 2 videos to look at. And let's see what we can learn from this situation. Absolutely crazy. Let's get into it. We got to go over straight to YouTube about it.
But first at 5, a sudden breakthrough in the case of 17-year-old London Thomas. 6 months after her death, murder charges have been filed. We appreciate you joining us this afternoon. I'm Glenda Lewis.
And I'm Simon Shaquette. For the first time, prosecutors are revealing how the teenager was killed. They say she was asphyxiated.
London last seen April 5th after being dropped off at her boyfriend's house in Inkster. Her body was found April 26th inside a white SUV in Southfield. By early May, 2 suspects were released, 1 woman charged with lying to investigators.
Now, prosecutors say they have enough evidence to charge London's boyfriend and his mother.
7 News Detroit reporter Tiara Braddock starts us off with a closer look at the major development and the family's reaction tonight.
London Thomas's grandmother says she's breathing a sigh of relief now that murder charges have been announced in her granddaughter's death. London's body was found in this Southfield neighborhood back in April.
I want justice for my granddaughter. I want them to get the maximum penalty they can get for my granddaughter.
Justina Martin is London Thomas's grandmother. London was only 17 years old when investigators say she was killed.
I am so glad that they got what they got coming.
London's 23-year-old ex-boyfriend Jalen Pendergrass and his mother Charla Pendergrass have been arrested and charged with second-degree murder. London was last seen alive after she was dropped off at...
Did I hear what I think I heard? They said, so she's 17 and the boyfriend 23? Let's keep going.
Jalen's home in Inkster back in April. Wayne County prosecutor Kim Worthy says a friend of Charlotte told the FBI that Charlotte had asked him to transport a plastic bin with unknown contents. He then allegedly placed the bin in an SUV and parked it on Millard Street in Southfield. In late April, London's body was found still inside a bin in that SUV. Her cause of death was determined to be asphyxia.
I don't sleep good at night since this happened because I've been praying for justice.
Martin says she always suspected that Jalen and his mother had something to do with London's disappearance and murder.
It built it because I talked to her and she told me that my granddaughter wanted to kill herself. I say, well, why would she say that? She never told me. And me and her was close. She tell me everything. She was letting me know then that she was dead.
Meanwhile, Martin says life has been so hard without London.
I miss talking to my grandbaby because she always called me and say, Grandma, I love you. And I miss her. I got her pictured all over my house.
Jalen and Charla Pendergrass are expected to be formally charged Friday morning. I did reach out to their attorney, but haven't heard back yet. In Southfield, Tiara Braddock, 7 News Detroit.
Absolutely crazy. Let's get over into this next video and see what else we can learn.
We begin tonight with a mother and son facing murder charges as a grieving family demands answers about the death of a teenage girl. Good evening. I'm Mike Duffy.
And I'm Carolyn Clifford. The case of London Thomas is one that has gripped our entire community. Her body was found in April, 3 weeks after she was reported missing in Inkster.
7 News Detroit reporter Brett Cast is raising the voice of the heartbroken grandmother and both defense attorneys.
Both Jalen and Charlotte Pendergrass are being held in Inkster jail behind me as they await arraignment on these charges. Now, for the family of London Thomas, this is a day they've long been waiting for. But both defense attorneys tell me their clients maintain their innocence.
I miss her so much. I miss talking to my grandbaby because she always called me and say, Grandma, I love you. And I miss her. I got her pictured all over my house.
It's been nearly 6 months since Justina Martin learned her 17-year-old granddaughter, London Thomas, was dead. The teen had been missing for weeks after last being seen at the Inkster home of her boyfriend, 23-year-old Jalen Pendergrass, who the Wayne County prosecutor says is now being charged with second-degree murder, along with his mother, 49-year-old Charlotte Pendergrass.
I want them to get the maximum penalty they can get for my granddaughter.
First reported missing April 5th, London's body was later found on April 26th after prosecutors say a friend of Charlotte's told police he was asked by Charlotte to transport a sealed plastic bin with unknown contents, which he put in an SUV parked on Millard Street in Southfield, and inside the SUV, police found the plastic bin with London's lifeless body inside.
While it seems that so many have rushed to judgment and have already arrived at the conclusion that he's responsible and that he's the killer, I hope that people will let the evidence play itself out and respect the process. But
he transported her remains. Yeah, let's respect the process. Yeah, he's innocent till proven guilty. Yeah. Come on now. He asked someone to help him transport a bin with unknown contents, and then later on the police find the body in the bin that he asked. Come on, are we stupid? Or do you think we're stupid? Let's keep going.
But he most certainly will be pleading not guilty.
Adam Clements represents Jalen, who, along with Charla, has previously been arrested and charged since the investigation began. However, those charges were later dropped, but none rose to the level of second-degree murder.
I want to see what the new evidence is that they all of a sudden have come forth in the middle of the night to arrest these folks and say, we're here now, we've got a case. What's the evidence?
As both Jalen and Charla maintain their innocence, London's family is still mourning and still pleading for justice.
I've been praying for this day to come, and I pray to God that they get what they got coming in court. Justice for my granddaughter, because she did not deserve that.
And that arraignment takes place at 9 a.m. A second-degree murder charge could carry a sentence of life in prison. In Inkster, I'm Brett Cast, 7 News, Detroit.
Brett, thank you.
Now, I would want to know what the mother had to do with it. I believe at first they mentioned how she lied to investigators, maybe trying to change the details about it or give some different details than the truth to the police. And then they found out. Of course, a mother is going to try to protect her son, at least some mothers. So she's most likely just trying to protect her son. It's a crazy situation. At the end of the day, you are innocent until proven guilty. That is the justice system we believe in, or I believe in. So we just got to go through trial. Hopefully the prosecutors have some great evidence so they can link it and make the juries convict. Absolutely crazy. I wonder what the situation, I would like to know what the situation is, why he killed her, or why they're suggesting he killed her. But they say she died from strangulation or asphyxiation. Fancy word for strangulation. Now, I might be wrong, but tell me. But that's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Mother and son. Now, y'all saw that when they first mentioned the age difference, 17 and 23. How do y'all feel about that age difference? I was about to say maybe she was younger, but 16 and 22, 15, 21. It doesn't get better. Why is he messing with a 17-year-old at 23? That is the question I have. Why are her parents dropping her off at her boyfriend who was 23 years old. Maybe it's age of consent thing. Maybe it just once you get over drinking age, like 21, once you're over 21, why are you messing with someone younger than 18? Like, say if you're 20 and you messing with an 18-year-old, I don't see a problem with that. I don't see a problem with that at all. But absolutely crazy, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. How do you the defense attorney said they're going to go for a not guilty plea. Of course they will. That's how they're going to do. But how do you think that trial is going to play out? It's a crazy world. It's a crazy world, y'all. But we got to keep reviewing the world together. Have to keep reviewing the world together. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now we're going to pivot. We're going to pivot over into, we got a triple homicide. So we got a triple homicide that ends at Buc-ee's. Now, if you haven't been to Buc-ee's, I suggest going to Buc-ee's. It's a good time. But it looks like a triple homicide that ends with, that starts in another location, then everything finally comes to an end at Buc-ee's. They didn't want to get no sandwiches. Or just violence, absolute violence. We got 2 videos to look at here, and then we're going to see what we can learn about this situation.
Well, tonight, 3 people are dead and several others are recovering in the hospital following a crime that officials say spread across multiple counties early this morning. And it all began with a triple homicide in Henderson County, and it ended with a woman pinned by a car at a Buc-ee's in Ennis. NBC5's Allie Spilliards joined us with the latest on the investigation and an update on one of those victims.
Family of the woman who was injured when a car crashed into this Buc-ee's in Ennis around 5 this morning tell me that she just underwent surgery and is recovering and is doing as well as to be expected. She was just passing through on her way from Oklahoma to Houston, completely unrelated to the tragedy that unfolded south of here. Tonight, loved ones leaned on each other.
You never know when things like this will happen. You truly never know. Out of the blue. She wasn't even part of the situation. Traveling, stopping in at Buc-ee's, at one of the largest gas stations, maybe trying to get a barbecue sandwich, enjoy her time. Then your life is ended, or she's severely injured. Absolutely crazy. I'm not sure. Let's keep
going. As the crime tape was ripped away and the reality of a triple murder set in. The Henderson County Sheriff's Office says 29-year-old Christopher Reed Jr. shot 5 people at this home on Taos Drive in Maybank around 2:30 a.m. 2 women and 1 man died. 2 other men were rushed to a hospital in Tyler.
About 1:30ish, 2 o'clock, and he pounded on the door, asking for help. He said, "I've been shot."
Next door, Cheryl Noble called 911. Hours later, there was still blood on her door.
He said, "My brother shot me."
2.5 hours later and 30 miles away, police tied Reed to another crime scene at a Buc-ee's in Ennis. After the murders, they say he crashed his vehicle through the front of the store, pinning a woman before shooting himself in the head. She was hospitalized. Reed was taken to the hospital with critical injuries. Back in Maybank.
Well, it's not what we want to see in our neighborhood. These things just don't go on.
Neighbors are mourning for a family that they say have lived in this home for more than 40 years. A brother and sister, a daughter and nephew, as they wait to learn who survived. One of those neighbors told us that he recognized Christopher Reed and had seen him visiting family at that home in the past. Officials have yet to identify any of the victims, but of course, as soon as we have any of those names or any new details, we'll make sure to pass them along.
Absolutely crazy, y'all. So he tried to shoot 5 people. Ended up killing 3. His own family, it sounded like. One of them was the brother who was shot. And then he makes his way to another town, runs into Buc-ee's with his vehicle, pins a woman, severely injuring her before shooting himself in the head. There's some demons in this world. I don't know if he was going through some mental issues, but I don't like to put it all on that. You have to be a real SOB to shoot your family. 5 members of your family, trying to kill them all. Absolutely crazy. Let's get over into this next video and see what else we can learn about this situation, or if we learn anything different.
That we've been following throughout the entire day and evening. This involves 5 victims, 3 dead, 2 of them recovering from gunshot wounds.
It's a crime that stretches across 2 cities 45 minutes apart. It started at a neighborhood in Maybank, and it ended at a Buc-ee's travel stop in Ennis. That is where investigators say the suspect turned a gun on himself. Marvin Hurst with new details tonight from where it all started.
I'm at the Buc-ee's in Ennis. This is where investigators say they found Christopher Kyle Reed Jr. Now, they are not confirming what neighbors tell CBS News Texas, that Reed gunned down his own family. Cedar Creek Cove subdivision in Maybank got rocked out of their sleep at 2:30 Friday morning by gunfire. The authorities responded to emergency calls for a shooting.
Just unsettled. You know, very disturbing.
Cheryl Noble's door and front deck are stained with blood. It's from a neighbor who is an alleged victim.
He came pounding on the door and real loud. And I came out and he said, help me, that I've been shot. And I didn't know him. I guess first, who are you? And he said, I'm Peanut. My son knows him. So I called 911.
What he said next was shocking.
He said his brother shot him. He didn't say nothing about the family.
The Henderson County Sheriff's Office confirms the deaths of 3 people from this mobile home. A man and a woman, they say, were pronounced dead at the scene. Another man died at the hospital. 2 other men were shot and survived. No identities have been released. In the meantime, investigators say suspect Christopher Kyle Reed Jr. crashed into this Buc-ee's with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. By Friday evening, family members did not want to go on camera. The busy Buc-ee's had boarded up their entrance, and investigators had not provided the why about Reed, the victims, and what happened on this street on a Friday morning. In Maybank, Marvin Hurst, CBS News Texas.
Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. I was gonna see if we can find anything else. Let's see the most recent information we can. Let's get over into this article so we can see exactly if we can find any more information out about this whole situation. Let me zoom in some so everybody can see it. So a man suspected of murdering 3 people crashed his car into Buc-ee's, then shot himself in the head. Christopher Reed Jr., a 29-year-old from Hubbard, crashed into Buc-ee's in Ennis during the early hours of October 17th before shooting himself, according to Henderson County Sheriff's Office. He was suspected of committing a triple homicide in Maybank just hours before. Reed smashed his way into a southwest entrance of Buc-ee's at 5 a.m. According to the statement from Ennis Police Department, he was in a 2003 Dodge Caravan, which struck and pinned a woman against the sales display. Once the vehicle stopped, he shot himself in the head. Responders brought Reed to the hospital with critical injuries, according to the release. They also brought the woman in Oklahoman, how they say it, who was passing through to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. It's good that she her injuries weren't life-threatening. Just hours earlier at 2:30 a.m., Henderson County deputies responded to a shooting at Taoist at the house. According to the sheriff's offices, when they arrived, they found multiple victims. 3 were pronounced dead. The deceased included 51-year-old Kimberly Simpson, 72-year-old Connie Patrick, and 57-year-old Ronnie Hammond. Simpson and Patrick were shot multiple times, while Hammond was shot, struck, and stabbed. Wow. Paramedics brought 2 more victims, 24-year-old Colton Reed and 70-year-old Henry Hawgood, to the University of Texas Health in Tyler. Reed was stable, but Hopgood was critical. The suspect, Christopher Reed, was in critical condition at Baylor University Medical Center in Dallas as of October 18th per sheriff's office. Henson County deputies are investigating these incidents alongside the Texas Rangers, the Henson County District Attorney Office, and Ennis Police. We are deeply saddened by this incident and stand with those involved as our community heals, said the officials of Ennis Police. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, some people got some demons in them. Sometimes you'll never expect the people closer to you. One of the people shot was his brother. He was named Christopher Reed Jr., so that's named after his father. And then one of the victims, Colton Reed, 24-year-old. What can drive a man to shoot his own brother, shoot the family? It's a crazy world we live in, y'all. It is a crazy world. But what do I always say? We got to review the world together. We have to review the world together. He ended up taking his own life, probably because he didn't want to deal with his, take responsibility for his actions. So we probably won't never know what really happened. Absolutely tragic scene. We might hear something about the family members who survived, about what exactly was going on, but will we ever know the truth about what happened? Why he did it? Was he just going through something? Was he just a terrible person? There's a lot of questions. Absolutely crazy situation. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a crazy world, y'all. It's a crazy world, but we got to keep living it. We have to keep living it. Now we're going to pivot. A wild situation that I wasn't expecting to pop up on my timeline. Looks like an inmate uses a hidden gun from his buttocks. Yes, I said it, from his buttocks. I have several questions. First of all, did they not search him? I know for a fact they search you. I told you before, yeah. They'll search everywhere. So I don't know how he snuck the gun in there. Was it just lazy that day? Did he find a loophole? Absolutely crazy, but we got a video to look at and we got an article to go into. But let's see what it's all talking about. Yeah, there's some wild people in this world. See, that's what you got, a shirt ripped. Absolutely crazy. Let's get into it.
Suspected gun smuggler Louis Soto walked into Mount Vernon court Friday night under heavy security. Only Pix11 was there for his second trip in front of Judge Tamika Cloverdale in 24 hours.
He does pose an extreme flight risk.
Thursday, the same judge ordered him to the county lockup for child sex abuse charges. Soto was then handcuffed and loaded into this.
So he was going for child sex abuse. Maybe I'm just saying some stuff, saying what my initial thoughts are, but maybe he did it because he knew what was about to happen to him in jail. When you go to jail for some child sex abuse, you can be prepared about what's going to happen. People ain't seeing their kids. They're going to mess you up. Let's get into it.
Prisoner transport van with 4 other prisoners by Mount Vernon police officers. Remarkably, sources say Soto managed to stash a .22 caliber revolver in his buttocks the entire time, and while en route to jail, allegedly shot a fellow prisoner in the leg.
The officers reported hearing a single gunshot from the rear of the van. The officers immediately returned to police headquarters, where additional department personnel assisted in safely offloading the prisoners.
The Mount Vernon Police Department in Westchester County launching a joint investigation into how Soto slipped the gun past so many layers of security since his arrest October 15th. Sources say it's possible he had it hidden on him in the courtroom too.
So all them times they never patted him down, that weapon was still on him? That's unresponsible, unacceptable.
Outrage from the
100%.
community as the department overhauls its search protocol for all inmates again.
The use of the department's magnetometer handheld wand is now mandatory for all new prisoner processings. The use of it was optional previously.
The 2 officers directly involved have been put on desk duty, while the 32-year-old Bronx man said nothing as he was remanded to jail once more on the gun charges.
Based upon these charges and also what occurred yesterday, as such, he is going to be remanded.
It's unclear if the shooting was intentional or accidental. The victim is still in the hospital recovering, and Soto has been ordered to stay away from him until his next court date.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah, that old man made some good points. Come on now. What are we doing? What are we doing? You mean to tell me he wasn't searched fully after he was processed? What is happening? Come on now. I know when I was in locked up and they made me dress out. Now, I don't know if he had to dress out or not yet, but they definitely did search. They searched. Nothing crazy, but they searched. Absolutely wild. That is very irresponsible. He might can sue. If we being honest, the inmate might can sue the police. He would have a good case too. Just makes sense. Like, come on now, you can expect that an inmate who is being processed, been to court, his gun is gone. You searched him properly. Maybe they're saying that we don't search that far. Absolutely crazy. Let's get over into this article and see if we can find any more information about this whole situation. See if they tell us anything different than what we already know. See if they can tell us anything different than what we already know. Let me zoom in so everybody can see it. Let's see. An inmate allegedly shot another inmate as they was being taken into a van to a New York jail on Thursday, according to authorities. Mount Vernon police said 5 prisoners were in the van heading to Westchester County Jail at around 7:40 p.m. When officers in the front of the vehicle heard a single gunshot. The van drivers then turned around and went back to the police department headquarters to assess what had happened. Police said an inmate was found with a gunshot wound to the leg, and they were taken to the local hospital for their injuries, according to authorities. Police identified the alleged shooter as Luis Santos, 32, from the Bronx, who had been arrested in connection to a forcefully touching incident on October 15. So that's the child. Forcefully touching a child. First thing first, he deserves to spend too much. He needs to spend a lot of time in prison. Maybe the maximum. The maximum. Forcibly touching a child. Sick bastard. Sick individual. A demon. Anyhow you want to say it. But let's keep going. The man does not have a significant prior criminal history. I mean, it don't matter. That's significant enough. A 22 caliber Roman revolver. I don't know how to say that. Revolver was recovered from the van. The weapon had 1 spent round and 4 live rounds remaining. He was ready to take out 5 people. 5 people. And they didn't find it. They probably arrested him and they didn't find it. The firearm has not been reported stolen, and the full trace is underway. Authorities have not revealed the identity of the inmate who was shot or what led up to the shooting. Law enforcement sources say the alleged shooter smuggled the gun in his buttocks. I wonder if they got cameras in the back. I want to know if they got cameras in the back of the vans. It would be nice to know that they got some cameras in the back of the vans so they can keep track of the prisoners the whole time, but we'll never know. We might never know. Chief stated that moving forward, a handheld wand will be mandatory for all new prisoners processing. Preliminary findings indicate the firearm should have been detected prior to transport. The use of it was optionally previously. The chief said that Santos will face additional charges, including criminal possession of a weapon in a second degree, assault in the first degree, and reckless endangerment. The Winchester District Attorney Office told PX11 News in a statement the Winchester County District Attorney Office is assisting in that investigation separately. The Public and Law Enforcement Integrity Bureau within the District Attorney's Office is conducting an independent holistics review of the incident. That investigation remains ongoing and no further details can be released at this time. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Yep, sounds like they didn't do a good job searching him. And if the gun wouldn't have went off, or if he didn't, well, we don't know exactly what happened in the back. He might have pulled out the gun, shot him in the leg. It might have accidentally went off. But if it didn't go off, I hopefully they would have found it. Because when you start to dress out, they searching. They searching. Absolute crazy, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Absolutely crazy. More charging. When he could have probably just turned over the gun and said, yeah, I got a gun. Maybe he wasn't allowed to. Maybe he wasn't. No, because he was his first. He doesn't have a significant prior criminal history. He was arrested for forcefully touching. I don't know why he didn't just turn over the gun. Maybe he was trying to avoid other charges, but he gonna get when they find it. Or maybe he was hoping they wouldn't find it. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. It's a wild world. It's a wild world, but we got to keep living it. Like I said, let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Let me know what your thoughts are on that whole situation. Absolutely crazy. Now, speaking of guns, we got to go over to Chicago. A video came up that said a Chicago gun owner has been charged, even though he had the proper licensing to have the gun. So let's get over into this video and see what this whole incident is about, and see what we can learn about this situation. What is happening? Let's get into it.
Ease your constitutional right to carry a gun in the state of Illinois if you have the proper licenses. But some black gun owners say their rights are being violated. CBS News Chicago investigator Dorothy Tucker uncovered several cases where they were stopped by police and charged with felonies despite having everything in order, leaving them to pick up the pieces of their lives.
We did something that's never been done before, watermelon cheesecake.
A cheesecake tasting in the south suburbs. Louis McWilliams' dream is to grow his business.
It's gonna blow you away.
I like it.
All was good.
Oh my God, it's so good. I told you. This is like a Jolly Ranch.
Until this.
Like I can say right now, Mr.
I'm an entrepreneur. I have a cheesecake company called Ann's Flavored Cheesecakes.
At the time of this interview, Louis faced a felony charge.
This has been very traumatic for me. I feel like my rights was violated.
His Second Amendment rights. Louis is an avid gun owner.
Just got me the AR top, one in the middle.
In April, Louis was pulled over on the south side, West 79th Street. He had a missing front plate.
Hey, yes, sir. How you doing, boss? Good.
The first thing he did, tell the officers he had a gun.
Okay, where's your firearm? On my side. Okay, you got your percent to carry license?
According to state law, in order to carry a legal gun in your car, you need a firearms license, better known as a FOID card, and a concealed and carry license, commonly called a CCL. This is Louis's card, and it's valid. That's what he handed the officers.
He looks at him. He said, okay, cool, this is perfect.
Only it wasn't.
Concealed and carry, it didn't pop up. Oh.
It didn't pop up on Leeds, the database operated by the Illinois State Police. Police recommended Louis be charged with 2 felonies. And look here, prosecutors approved the charges.
He never should have been charged.
Irv Miller is a former prosecutor, once in charge of reviewing police cases.
He showed them a valid CCL card. Not only did they see it, they actually took possession of it and inventoried it.
I haven't got through doing it.
It's right there in CPD's inventory sheet. So why was Louis arrested? That's a question we wanted to ask Superintendent Larry.
So why? The question is, why didn't it pop up on the system? Is the system supposed to be up to date, or is it Yeah, why? Because they're saying they looked it up. They looked up his card and they said it didn't pop up. And the reason they're arresting him is because they can't identify, they can't prove if it's a fake card or if it's an actually legitimate card.
Snelling, but he declined an interview. So we reached out to state police because anytime an officer pulls over a driver who has a gun, the first thing they do is check the state's database to see if that driver has a valid FOID and CCL.
Oh, okay.
So here's the question we asked the state. If a driver like Lewis actually hands the police a valid CCL, but the officers don't see the information in the state's database, what should they do? The state replied, the officers should not take any law enforcement action as it relates to a potential FOID CCL violation. That's what Lewis expected, and what he was told later as he stood in a jail cell.
And if this comes back clean, yeah, then they just let you go, apologize, and let you go about your day.
That's not what happened. Lewis spent 24 traumatic hours behind bars.
It was just deplorable.
It took 24
There were
hours?
roaches falling from the ceiling.
All of this because of illegal everything.
Yeah, I can't tell you why.
I need somebody to tell me, man.
Worse than the jail conditions? A missed business opportunity.
That day, I had a meeting. Could not do the meeting that day because I was arrested. By losing that, I might have lost the franchise.
Lewis also lost time, lots of it. He was in and out of court fighting to get the charges dismissed and his impounded car returned.
I know this is a system, so just hoping for the best result.
How long does it take to prove that it's a valid license? Once they prove it's valid, why do you have to go through all this effort? Like, they should have just proved that it was valid. You take that to the court saying, look, they said that it wasn't showing up, but I have proof that it's a valid CCI, a fourth, however they call it. And everything should have been going about the way.
It wasn't until mid-June, 3 months after he was stopped, that the case was finally dismissed.
I'm very excited for him, but this is not the end.
Next step, more money spent to expunge the case, so his arrest won't show up in a background check.
And all of this for somebody who did nothing wrong?
Correct.
Your joy is a little bit...
Dampered,
what?
Yes. Totally dampered, because now this is a much longer process.
It's nearly impossible to know how many drivers like Lewis are wrongly charged with unlawful gun possession that are later dismissed. Neither the CPD or the Cook County State's Attorney's Office track it.
Because we got to confirm whether it's actually valid or not.
We did find a handful of lawsuits accusing police of violating the rights of legal gun owners.
I'm sitting in here in the back of a squad car because my license expired, but I renewed it.
One of those, an irate Lucy Washington.
And it's not my fault that you guys didn't get it in your system.
I'm an entrepreneur, a loving mother. I do everything from real estate.
Can't wait to get my guys in here to look at the floors.
To rehabbing.
Here's Lucy's story.
Hi, I have something wrong with my back.
In December of 2023, she was stopped for failing to put on her turn signal. Without hesitation, she volunteers.
I am concealed and carry.
As a single woman, Lucy carries a gun for protection.
I have it.
My love, your CCL expired.
I know, but if you pull it up, it'll show that I already tried to renew it.
Lucy tries to explain that the email showing proof she renewed is on her phone.
My phone is fell.
Only she can't find it. This is the email from the state Lucy was trying to show the police. It says if you apply for renewal, you're eligible to possess a license.
Oh my God, are you serious? Can I please look for my phone? Please, give me like 5 more minutes to look for my phone.
And it sounds like the officers weren't going to accept the email under any circumstances.
Lucy, it's not in our system, Lucy. It's not in our system.
I freaked out, especially when I was told that I was going to be charged with a felony. I'm like, I can lose my broker license.
Like Lewis, Lucy's felony charge was eventually dismissed. She also got the case expunged, but she's still living with the trauma.
If you search a property that is in my name, my mugshot shows up next to it. It's embarrassing. You know, how do I explain to someone? Like, I don't know. I was innocent.
If they did nothing wrong, again, why were Lewis and Lucy arrested? We posed that question to Phil Smith.
And I'm honored to testify today.
Smith is a president and founder of the National African American Gun Association. Membership more than 50,000.
Outrage, anger, frustration, not again. Those are the conversations and statements that are going in my head when I hear about another black person being stopped illegally, being arrested illegally when they've had all their stuff together.
While there's no data that tracks race in these types of gun arrests, Smith points to America's disturbing history of black people with guns being unjustly.
See, I don't know if you can bring up race into it, but because they said they don't track race, so we don't know. It could be happening to black or white people. It's just they have these two incidents where a black woman and a black man happened to them. But it sounds like if it doesn't pull up in their system, expired or not, you're going to jail. If it doesn't show up in their system, they're not going to ask any questions. They're not going to ask you to explain. You're immediately going to jail and you're being charged with a felony. Now, I don't understand why, if it's a system mistake, why does it take so long for you to get all this figured out? Come on now, it doesn't make sense. Is the court system just that slow to where it takes this long to get all this figured out and then you got to pay all this money? I don't know about if it's only happening to black people or if it's or not, because they said, like they just said, that they don't break it down by race. But the main thing I'm getting from it is if it doesn't show up in the police system and you have a gun on you, no matter if you have your license on you, no matter anything, if it doesn't show up in their system, you are going to jail. You're going to be charged with a felony. Sounds like the system needs to change. I don't know what's happening. Is it a malfunction or is it something like that? But no, that's too much. That's too much. How is everything correct that I've done, but then your system's saying that it's wrong, and then I got to go through this whole long, crazy process just to get the felony off my record and everything like that. Now I'm losing business deals. You messing up money. That's you messing up my money at that point. And I'll be pissed too. You're messing up my money, my livelihood. Yeah, something's got to happen. We got to fix this. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Now we're going to go over into the last thing we're going to get into today is the David. So it's looking like they're talking about now the most recent updates from this whole case. If y'all don't remember who the singer David is, who found Celeste's body in the Tesla, or who owned the Tesla that Celeste's body was found. They're looking like they found. They're having questions about who was driving the actual Tesla that Celeste's body was in. But let's get over into this. It looks like they're talking to a private investigator who was hired by the homeowner that David was staying in to figure it out. So let's get into it. Let's get right into it.
Somebody put a dead or soon-to-be-dead teenage runaway in the trunk of her boyfriend's Tesla and ditched that Tesla on an upscale street in the Hollywood Hills. And weeks later, that Tesla with the rotting corpse inside was ticketed and towed away. That somebody may or may not have had a hand in the runaway's death, but my money is on yes. And more than a month after this mystery first hit the headlines with the discovery of the decomposing body of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the name of that somebody is as unknown to us officially as ever, but apparently not to everybody. The identity of the person who abandoned that Tesla, a filthy luxury car owned by the singer David, with David's 14-year-old girlfriend dead inside, is now known to investigators. And tonight, we're learning that both the car and driver were captured on surveillance video the last time that car was apparently driven by anyone. Even better, we've learned the driver was visible enough in that footage to be identified later on. LA police are not talking about this or anything else in the Celeste death investigation. The bombshell video was unearthed by the private investigator hired by the owner of the house where David lived up until a couple of weeks after Celeste was found dead in his car. And that's not the only piece of evidence that the PI unearthed. That investigator's name is Steve Fisher, and he joins me now live. Steve, welcome back to the program. How certain are you that this video of the car driving away from David's mansion is the last time it drove and ended up at the spot where it was abandoned, likely with that body inside?
I'm certain. Listen, I can't say 100% because there's not a camera trained on that Tesla once it's parked. Continuously that I've seen. I mean, there likely is a camera, but I've seen the car driven to that spot, and with the dates, with the date that it was, and they left town right after that. I'm certain that is the last time the car was driven. It was put there with her, in the front trunk.
And there's one weird detail about what you could, well, there's a lot of weird details, and I'm going to get to what you saw through the driver's side window in a second, but there was an air freshener that was found in the car at this point that we see on our screen, where it was abandoned. Was that air freshener also hanging from the rear view mirror when it drove off from David's house?
It wasn't, but the window was half to 3/4 of the way down, which is odd because it was a very short drive, and also at that on that day, this is the very end of July 29th. It was like 78 degrees at that time in the morning, or 77 degrees, and if it was on the street where the house is, so it's shaded by the house. So if you're going, I don't know why the window would be rolled down unless there's something offensive there, and then all of a sudden. One of the first things I picked up on when the news first broke about her being found in there, where they were towing the car away from the impound lot to LAPD, was why on a $104,000 car is there a Christmas tree air freshener hanging from the from the mirror? It seemed kind of odd to me, but I guess maybe they thought that would help, mask it for when they had to move the car again.
If there was that smell at that time, because again, we have no idea when Celeste started decomposing in that trunk. We don't know if she'd been decomposing in the trunk for a long time before it ended up being, the car ended up being abandoned. But talk to me about the date of this video, July 29th, and talk to me about what you saw. What did you see in terms of the identity of the person driving through that open window?
So it's very clearly that Tesla, one, because the Tesla has that tape on the rear spoiler for whatever reason. I don't know why it's there. And also, it was just like it is in that picture. It was that dirty, except you could tell that they had run the windshield wiper like once to clear the dirt away so they could see. And it comes very close to the camera, although there is some motion blur, but you can see the person and you can see what they're wearing something pretty distinctive, and there's photos that I have from.
So you could see it, but the police haven't. Maybe they're searching for the dude. I don't know what all is happening, but they haven't relayed any of this information to the public yet. But they might be investigating it.
12 hours earlier, a person at the house wearing the same thing.
And I know that the viewers right now are screaming at the TV set saying, Ashley, ask him who it was.
I mean, I honestly wish I could tell you. I don't want to, I don't want to interfere with LAPD on that. And I think that's coming because we know a crime was committed 100%. Somebody concealed her body.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and down.
Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. As of now, the cause of death is still undetermined. As of now, the cause of death is still undetermined. After how long? The body was found in September, and it's about to be November. November in a little while. It's so many. Still so many questions. Still so many questions. But I want to know who it was. He can't say, but obviously the police know. The police know who it was. But they haven't mentioned any information yet. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything. Because, we can go to our good friend X. They tell you always some crazy things going on X. Where see if they have anything else. But as of this moment, what's that? That's right. As of this moment, there has been no cause of death. The cause of death is undetermined, so we're still waiting on the actual cause of death of exactly when she died. There's a lot of questions still left to be answered. And then, who was driving the Tesla? Who drove it? So somebody drove it to that is what their theory is right now, that somebody drove the Tesla to the area. Of course, that's how it would be, but it wasn't David. And that after that, they left town. David and the crew left town. Too many questions, but we're going to keep up with this story. Hopefully we'll find out some information about this. But it's not looking good. The more time passes, just so many different crazy things about this case pop up that doesn't look good for singer David. Does not look good. Let me know your thoughts on this whole situation, y'all. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you found anything that I haven't found out. A lot of rumors going around, but we want to focus on the facts. We want to focus on what has came out. So it sounds like the police know about this suspect, but that's why he didn't want to say who it was, because it's going to mess up their investigation. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. It's a crazy world we live in. But at the end of the day, like I always say, we got to review the world together. We have to review the world together. But that is it for the show today, y'all. Thank you for watching now. Thank you for watching later. Like always, these videos will be broken down so you can get whichever video you like the best. Go through and watch it. Like always, if you see anything that you want me to review, please send it over to my email. It's acreviewstheworld@gmail.com. A dot after the A and a dot after the C. If you disagree with anything I said, let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion on this stuff. Let's have a civilized discussion. There's no need for name calling. There's no need for anything like that. That is what's wrong with America now. That's what's wrong. People don't know how to have discussions with people anymore. If we had two different views, let's talk about them. You try to tell me your points, I tell you my points. We ain't trying to get angry. If you don't believe my points or change, that's fine. That's fine. You have your right to believe what you want to believe. But we need to be able to talk about these types of things. Discuss our other points, how we feel, why we feel the way we feel. That is my main thing. And make sure always do your own research, y'all. Don't just rely on me. Look up the stuff yourself. Take my video and be like, oh, okay, that's an interesting. I want to do more deep dives on that. Go and do the research. That is what I see these videos. I go through, do my own research, try to find different videos, go into different articles, seeing what is being said, seeing what's not being said. That is how you do it. That is how you review the world together, y'all. That is how you review the world together. Thank you all for watching. You already know I will play the outro. But that's it for now, y'all. I'll see y'all back on Friday. Peace.